Hello, this is me, Josh Hunter. It's another wonderful day here, here in the world, planet Earth, and all that. And I'm thinking, I'm enjoying being a part of life and all the things that happen while you are living. And I may have mentioned this before. I did have like an entire set of YouTube videos, which it was like 50 or 60 videos, maybe even more. But I had to get rid of them because they weren't up to my standards. And it's important. Whatever you do, you should. Some people call it integrity, whereas I might call it something else. But yeah, it's up to you. I will admit, I am not always the most interesting person. Although to myself, I am always interesting. I've never been like when I think about like me, I'm not I'm not necessarily a narcissist, but when I wake up in the morning, I don't see any complaints, or I don't see anything to complain about. I'm not, and the reason for that is because I always try to make sure that I maintain a certain amount of integrity in the things that I do. So one of the main reasons for these videos is, well, first of all, let me tell you, I'm a homeless person, a transient vagabond, and I've been so for quite some time, more than half a decade, which makes me kind of like a vet, like a veteran of transience. Like I'm not like I'm not some like amateur homeless person or something. All right, so when things happen, like when there's something specifically pertaining to being homeless, like I'm the guy who knows what's up. Although I guess that's a type of bragging, arrogance even, but I'll find out. See, it's important that whatever you do, it comes from a real place, okay? Because when you start doing, for example, in the film, I think it's Alien Covenant. These are some spoilers, by the way. The android Walter meets the android David, and they are part of a. David is like the advanced, the advanced form of Walter, and in his they're the same model, but it's a different type of program. And in David's program, it was certain I think personality eccentricities were written out, and as they're discussing their ways of life, David says, if even one note is off in a symphony, it can kind of ruin the whole symphony. The implication there is that, like, when you're doing something from motives or motivations which aren't necessarily sincere, on the small scale, it's no problem. It won't become a problem until there's like more energy flowing through it. That's why some people, it's magnified by the intensity and the voltage of whatever it is. I might be being vague, but if so, it's deliberate. I have spent a lot of time thinking, and a lot of these videos that I make are it's rambling to some people. But if you're paying attention, you can find something of inestimable value. And so it's important to, some people shouldn't be honest. It's not to their benefit, because there's certain problems that they're not willing to fix. So I wouldn't say problems, but there are certain inconsistencies in their behavior that would make it impractical to be honest, because it would ruin their whole life to be honest. And that's why sometimes people wonder, well, why does it take so long for people who do bad things to get their justice or whatever. And you got to realize these people are very connected, okay? Like, if they go down, a whole bunch of people are going to go down with them. A lot of innocent people, too. And sometimes things have got to be determined, like how innocent are these people who are associated with, you know, whoever we deem to be like not what we want them to be. You know, there's a lot of things that once you've seen the connections, you know, you're not so quick to try and, you know, just throw someone under the bus, so to speak. There's not like, that's why I try to have as little responsibility as possible. I'm not a fan of responsibility. Like I like not doing anything. It's kind of, that's why I'm a bum. Like I am a bum. Like I'm not a homeless person. I'm a bum. Like even if I had $1 million, I would still be a bum. So you got to realize this is behavior. That's different. Some people, they've fallen on hard times, whereas I'm just a bum. I don't want to have to pay for anything. I just want to hang out all day. That's me. And you know, it's not like the most honorable way to live, but it's honest. And sometimes it's more important to be honest than honorable. Honor is good, but oddly enough, I only kind of recently found out what that means. I think anyway. I mean, I may have known previously, but it's good. I wanted to get on record that I'm very grateful for the warmth. It's been a very warm winter, as compared with the last 3 or perhaps 4 winters were not warm. It was cold. It was so cold that I couldn't. But now it's warm, and I wasn't complaining before, but I mean, I would have this reoccurring thought, oh, it can't be this cold. Like, it can't be. But it was. But this year, that thought has not occurred even once. And I'm wearing like between 6 and 8 layers, my top part anyway. But it's nice. I'm not complaining. But a main purpose or function of these videos is to repel, to make sure to keep the wrong, not necessarily the wrong. There are some people, like the moment they see me and hear my voice, like, I don't want to deal with this guy, I don't want to know anything about him, and it's just a natural thing. I could dress up, I mean, I could, you know, say, you know what, since I'm going to be on, you know, in front of folks, I better make myself look, you know, up to snuff or whatever, but, well, maybe not up to snuff. Do they still, anyway. But, I'm not like a fighter. I don't know how to fight. If you ever see me throw a baseball, you would know that I can't fight. But I do try to specialize in preventative measures to make sure that I don't ever have to fight. If I can see a fight from like a mile or 200 or even 800 miles away, I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that fight doesn't happen. And there are several types of fights. There's, you know, I mean, there's a fight where that's the only way that 2 or more people can work things out, is through a fight. And then there's another type of fight which is completely unnecessary. That is simply the result of poor communication. And the thing is, when you understand how to communicate effectively, you can avoid millions of fights. Literally. Sometimes fights only occur because of miscommunication. And so that's why I try to understand languages, not to such a degree that I forget myself. Self-identity is important. And if you learn languages that have nothing to do with you, you could lose yourself. Whereas I like me so much, I think it would be very, very difficult for me to ever lose myself. And that's the truth. But I think things are nice. It's a good winter. There are good. I think things are getting better. I think, at least with regards to temperature, and because that was my main gripe, you know, being as a transient. This is the weather, and when the weather is fine, I think this bum life is going to be like pretty neat. You know, it took me a couple of years to get the rhythm of this thing, but I figure as long as my life, you know, remains important to me, no matter what I do, I'm not going to have like any severe issues. Like, it's only when your life stops meaning anything to you that you get into real trouble. And so when your life does mean something to you, like when it's important to you, when you're not just throwing your life away over nothing, then you can get some real results. You can get real preservation and all that. So anyway, it's holiday season. I think my gift this year has been the warmth. I'm not like needing a lot. You know, I went to university with Santa Claus. We both took intro to business. And that was back before he was Santa Claus, though. Like, he was just like some schmuck. And I remember we had this class, right? And we had to do like a project. It was intro to business. And we had to create a business plan and try and pitch this plan to get someone to buy it. And I remember his I remember his plan, you know, this Santa Claus guy. He was like, all right, I'm gonna work for free for the rest of my life and never get paid, and just constantly give and give and give gifts and hire people without any money to dispense my products all over the world. And I'm gonna break into people's houses for one night and give and give and give. I only want to be paid in cookies and milk, this guy says. I remember we never laughed so hard. I mean, when we were in class, this guy was like, who is this guy? Coming up here and telling people to, you know, he's just gonna give and nothing else, you know. And now look at him. That's right, you can't, because nobody knows Santa, except for, you know, a couple of us. And but it's nice. I mean, I wouldn't talk to him now. I mean, you know, he's big time, so I can't. Anyway, happy holidays, and I would like for I know I like to see things going well, but at no additional cost to me. You know, I don't have to pay more than I have to. Is what I'm saying. I mean, I've already paid so much. All right, these terms are kind of vague, but sometimes I think it's important not to be too well understood. You don't want to understand someone too much, or maybe you do. I don't know.